Hey all, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a new series we're going to have on the channel, and I'm really excited to talk to you about my project car that I've been working on. I've had a lot of fun with this project. It's been really exciting, and so here we go. So about this new project car, it's actually a car I bought a long time ago, about 17 years ago. I've had it ever since, and I'm gonna start working on it. But the first thing I wanna do before I unveil the project car that I'm talking about is I do wanna talk to y'all about some things that I've learned and researched, and just kind of wanna give you some tips and tricks when starting a project car. The first thing is that you need to come up with what you want your project car to be. I'll talk about that coming up. The second thing is you kind of need to establish a plan and a budget on what you're going to spend on your car. Third thing, I think I picked up from a lot of other channels and a lot of great people out there, is the third thing I want to talk about is that if you're doing a project car, it's probably not best to be your daily driver. If it's your daily driver, I mean, there's possibilities and all kinds of in your build that stuff could break and you're not going to have a car. So, if you have two cars, probably the better, make sure this one's not your daily driver. And the fourth thing that I think I've learned is there's going to be trials and tribulations through any project car you do. Stuff's not going to go your way, but the best thing is you stay true to your original plan. Try to stay as close to your budget as you can, and what your plan is for that car. Don't deviate too much, because once you do that, I think it throws everything out of whack. Watching a lot of YouTube videos, talking to a lot of friends, and talking to a lot of people, those are the things that I've kind of gone through and I've thought about in my head, that I've kind of laid out on this project. So the first thing we're going to go to is I'm going to talk about the car that I picked, and then we'll talk about the plan, and then I'll talk about my budget and my phases that I've kind of lined up. And so, hope y'all enjoy this, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. So the most I can say is keep watching, okay? So here's the big unveil. Y'all could probably already tell by the name, by the title, and if you follow me on Instagram, I've sort of been given some hints and tricks on this, but it's a 2005 Acura RSX Type S. I bought it brand new. That's me in the pictures, you can tell. I'm much younger, much skinnier, and I think better looking back then, but who really knows. Also in the background you can see my old 1990 Integra. That's the first car I got when I was 16. My parents were nice enough to get that for me, and since then I've been a huge Integra junkie. I've loved every single generation of the Integras, except for the newest one. We'll talk about that later, probably in another video. But other than that, yes, so this is the project car. So now it's on, what is the plan for my 2005 RSX Type S? Well, it's got 187,000 miles on it. It's 17 years old. So right then I'm already looking at, I've got an older car, and there's a lot that's going to have to be done on this car. So the first part of the plan and what I want for this car is I want to be able to show it. So I want to be able to go to car shows. I met a group of guys. They have some beautiful cars, and I need to get my car to a good standard to where if I do take it to one of the local car shows or anywhere here in the Houston area, that people are like, wow, he's really put some work into it, and they can really see that I've done a lot. So unfortunately that means paint as well as some interior stuff, and that's just stuff I'm going to have to do to get it back to that level of like you see in these pictures where it's nice and shiny and the interior looks like brand new. So, and then the second part of my plan for this car is I want to be able to take it down to the track. So we know what a track car is going to need to do. I'm going to have to do some engine work. It's got 186,000 miles on it. So with that engine work, I'm going to have to, I have to do stuff on the engine. I need to rebuild it. It's older. Maybe the transmission. This is all stuff that we're going to figure out together as we go through the project and the plan and the budget on how to do this. And the next thing is we know what goes with track cars is suspension work. So coilovers, new controller arms, all that kind of stuff is what I'm going to have to do to get it for the track piece of it. So show and then track. And that is my plan, and that's my goal for this project is I want to have a car that looks nice And then I also want to be able to, have some performance parts on it and make sure it runs really nice. But I want to have those performance parts on there because, when you're going to the track, you need some horsepower behind the horsepower to, as well as cornering so you can get in and out of the turns. And to be honest with you, with all the stuff that you've seen on the K series and everything, and this has got a K20Z1, so it's a 2005, roughly 210, like 160 foot-pound-feet of torque, quarter from the factory. So, those numbers are going to have to go up. And, what's better right now than to work on a K20 or a K24? Because, heck, man, parts are out there. There's a lot of manufacturers that build a lot of stuff for these cars. And, you can put down some good horsepower on these K20s. So, I'm very excited for that piece and that portion of the build, as well as the resto. I do enjoy working on cars. I do enjoy cleaning. I enjoy all that stuff. So this is going to be a very, very fun project for myself. So the next thing we're going to go on to is we're going to have to talk about my plan, as well as my build, and what I'm going to do, and my budget, and how I'm going to try to budget this so I can actually get that kind of car that I want. So here we are. This is my upgrade plan. So as I said before, what I wanted to do is kind of break it up in about, so far I've broken up into at least 5 stages of the upgrade plan. I wanted to do certain things at certain times, just because I know what kind of needs to be done since it is an older car. So the first one is, stage 1 is I wanted to really, the engine's got 186,000 miles on it. I wanted to make sure that I basically rebuilt the engine. So some interesting stuff that I wanted, first, of course, header exhaust intake. I kind of got a rough idea of what stuff is going to cost. I really liked the skunk header, the NVIDIA exhaust. I looked around for intakes. I know everyone's like cold air intake. I flooded out my 90 Integra with a cold air intake. I know stuff's gotten better, but I just, ever since then, the short ram is fine for me. I wanted to upgrade the camshafts, so I wanted to just do the tuner stage 1 from Skunk. Of course, and also needed to do the Alf retainer springs, so I put those on there as well. Definitely wanted to get a new throttle body, bigger throttle body. Also needed a K-Pro, so I could actually tune the darn thing. And then also, I was thinking probably need to replace the motor mounts if they need to be replaced. So all that stuff is looking like it's going to probably cost me about $4,200. I'm going to probably try to double that in the top of my head, so I would need to save up probably around $8K for labor and any other miscellaneous stuff that comes up. Just because of it possibly can. The engine's old. Probably during all this we're going to rebuild it. So, I'm going to replace the water pump, timing chain, all the other stuff on the internals that needs to be replaced, especially since the engine's so old, who knows? May have to do something on the pistons. I don't know. We'll have to see when that happens, see what happens when I get to that, when I get that amount of money saved up. Stage 2, I want to do brakes and suspension. So, I was thinking Spoon, I still know, makes a front strut tower bar, get that. I wasn't quite sure. I was going between, I was looking at the TN, one of the Advanced Z, and the BR Series Racing coilovers from BR Racing. So, but then, of course, I know to do that, I've been doing some research, need the rear camber kit. I figured I'd get new controller arms as well as the new front controller arms too. My guess is it's got 186. There's a lot of creaking, a lot of stuff like that. I know those those are going to need to be replaced up front. So I was thinking, that I was going to have to do that. And then also for brakes, right now I kind of wanted to go with the StopTech just slaughtered street brake rotors for all four tires. I mean, all four axles, I guess you want to call them. But I was thinking that would kind of be a pretty good upgrade, at this time. I'm not sure, maybe later on, big brake upgrade. But, stage 2 is going to look like it's going to be probably around 4K. So that doesn't include labor. So going to be quite expensive to do that. But, of course, there is that $1,000 off depending on which coilovers I want to go with. Then I was, stage 3 is the interior. The front seats are kind of bad. So at this point right now, I haven't done any pricing yet or anything, but I want to get the seats reupholstered, and the tent's kind of old. So the next stage, of course, is get the tent get the tent pulled off. I actually want to clean off the tent and actually put it back to stock. No tent on it at all. Kind of going for that OEM, look on that, and I think that'll look pretty cool. So on the exterior right now, my headlights are kind of old and damaged. I'm going to try to restore them, by buffing them out, sanding them down, and doing that kind of stuff, and see what I can get. I'll do that first, and if that doesn't work out, then I'll probably I'll put in a price here for some. I know the OEM ones are a little harder to find, so I probably won't be able to find the OEM ones, but maybe there's some good aftermarket headlights I can get on the car. Want to try to keep that as stock as possible. I was thinking maybe a carbon fiber rear trunk spoiler and then a front lip. But at the same time, I am going to have to repaint at least the front and the hood area. But I may do a full repaint. When I get to stage 4, when I do the exterior, I'll get a little bit closer to that point. So then I'll go out and really take a look at what really needs to be done to get it to that show quality, as well as, making sure it looks nice and it's got some functional stuff that could help me with a little downforce on the track as well. Next stage is new rims. I've got those old Inkies on there. They just don't look as good. So there are some Volk Racing ones that I like, the ZE4 40s. Those looked really cool. I'm thinking about maybe getting those. But at the same time, that's a lot farther down the line. Really, when it comes down to my build, the first thing I'm going to focus on is rebuilding the engine. Hopefully, I can get that money saved up, and I can do that. Just as a heads up, what I'm doing to save up money, and so this is going to be a long build process, is I'm selling some old stuff that I have laying around for my other hobbies, some older Warhammer 40,000 stuff that I don't use anymore, or armies that I don't play anymore. I just don't have time anymore. So I'll probably be selling some of that stuff. That'll get me some funds back in here, as well as I'm basically doing this like I'm paying a car payment every month. So I'm putting about $500 aside every month to get me to that point. So as you can tell, it's going to be, this build process is going to take probably a couple years for me to do, I would say. But at the same time, if other money comes in, or, Christmas presents, birthday presents, that kind of stuff from the family, I will definitely put that money in here to get as much stuff as I can for this build. But there is no build budget, no upper level build budget that I'm doing right now. It's just I'm going to take each stage piece by piece. I'm going to take it as stage, and I'm just going to do that stage. When I get done with that stage and where I'm happy, then I will go to the next stage. So also too, all the stuff on show cars and a lot of the other stuff, those little knickknacks, like dressing up the engine and other stuff like that, I will be doing that after I get all the major stuff, major price things out of the way. So, that's engine, brake, suspension, doing the interior, doing the exterior, and then buying new rims. So I'll be taking care of all of that before I start doing those little fine details and stuff like that. I want to take care of the major expenses first before I start doing the smaller things. Just because I think to me, I feel like it'll be a better build process for myself. It'll be a better learning experience if I take care of the big stuff first, and then kind of work my way down, and that way I can tweak and improve stuff that I don't like on the original portion. To be honest with you, I think I'm going to run into problems. I may screw things up along this whole build process, but I hope this gives y'all a great idea of what I've kind of broken down as my plan. Taking and breaking up in different stages. I can't do it all at once. I don't have probably like 20,000 laying around to do all this at once. It's definitely going to be a long build process, and it may take a couple years. But appreciate y'all watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and write any comments or questions you have down there. If you have any experience on certain things and you want to caution me on things to look out for, I'd really appreciate it from the community. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you on episode 2.